Are you ready to rise above the noise, reclaim your power, and walk boldly in your purpose? This is Thrive and Rise with Tiffany, the podcast that's more than just talk. It's a movement.
Every setback is a setup for a greater comeback, and I'm here to walk with you through every chapter.
Join Tiffany Tilley, visionary, author, advocate, and overcomer as she sits down with dynamic leaders, everyday heroes, and purpose-driven changemakers who are thriving against the odds, with real conversations on healing, growth, and faith, to bold strategies for leadership, legacy, and impact. This is your space to be inspired, empowered, and equipped. Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, or any major podcast platform. And remember,
come for the inspiration, stay for the community. Keep thriving with Tiffany. Welcome to Thrive and Rise with Tiffany, where transformation meets purpose and self-discovery leads to impact. I am your host, Tiffany Tilley, author of the Know Thyself book series, your personal guide for self-discovery and transforming into the highest version of yourself. Do me a favor, please like, subscribe, and share with someone you love. Also, leave a comment and let us know what you want to hear about in an upcoming episode. Today, we are going to talk health equity in focus, understanding the realities Black Americans face in healthcare, with our special guest, Dr. Leonard Ellison. Let's rise together.
People ask all the time, who the heck is low-cost airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines, and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now.
Call 855-662-0261. That's 855-662-0261. Again, 855-662-0261.
Hi, I'm the tax lady. Do you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS? Then listen carefully. You may be able to pay the IRS less and save thousands of dollars because right now there are special government tax programs for people like you who owe the IRS. We can even help you if you have unfiled tax returns. And if you qualify, you'll pay less money to the IRS or state. Stop worrying about wage garnishments and bank levies and call the number on the screen right now for a free tax review. We know what you're going through. We help good people like you every day pay the IRS or state less taxes all the time. If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, call now for your free, no-obligation consultation with a tax professional. Don't fight the IRS alone. Call the Tax Ladies team today.
Call the Tax Lady at 877-335-7471. Call now.
Dr. Ellison, thank you so much for joining me in studio today. I am so excited to have you here. You were once my mother's doctor, and got a chance to meet you and really gained so much respect for you and your work. And I wanted to talk to you today about some of the things that African Americans are facing. There's a lot of biases in the health system, a lot of health disparities, and not a lot of Black doctors to go around so that people can get the service that my mother received from you.
Thank you.
So can you tell us about some of the disparities and biases?
Well, Tiffany, first of all, thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share your platform. I think that opportunities like this are what we need to open up the dialogue to get things to change and be better.
Absolutely.
I do practice in Detroit. I'm a Detroiter. I've been here my whole life. I am passionate about trying to bring health care to everybody and everybody benefit from good health care. I think as far as the disparities are concerned, it's multi-pronged. I don't want to say there's any one thing. I think the biggest issue is access. We have neighborhoods where there are no offices. Right now, we really have areas where there are no hospitals. Used to be we had hospitals all over the area. Now we're down to a few, and they're overwhelmed. They have nursing shortages. They have doctor shortages. Access to healthcare shortages are predominantly in the Detroit area. If we go to the suburbs, they have those things, okay? That being said, where we do have the offices, we don't have the ability to get the care that we would like to have the patients get. I'll give you an example. So right now, I think we're in a boom time in the care of diabetes. And there's something called a GLP-1. You've heard about Mounjaro, Wegovy, Ozempic. If I could get that for everybody that's obese or diabetic, I could change their life trajectory. I could,
Really?
yes. Those medications are so powerful in helping people lose weight and get to the appropriate BMI. But boy, oh boy, it is super tough to get them just because the insurance issues that we have to go through and having to go through prior auths and argue with insurance companies. So whereas when they tell us about these, we're enthusiastic, but that gets tempered by the fact that, man, I can't get this to the people that I'd like to have get it. Another instance is something called a continuous glucose monitor, whereas we used to have to stick our fingers to get them. Well, now you pop this on the shoulder every 10 days and it gets on your phone, and for the whole 10 days it tells you what your blood sugar is. Isn't that great that we could have that for people instead of trying to convince them to prick their finger, to remember to do it even? It becomes tough. So I would say, number one, access to the most up-to-date technology is tough, and it's tough for me to swallow too. I would say another issue is, just like I just said, that we have lack of facilities and offices. Well, when we talk about health, I think the cornerstone of our health is our diet. Good food.
Absolutely.
Healthy food.
Absolutely.
Not abundant food. Anytime you're shopping at a gas station, you're not having a healthy diet. And I think both of us would say we go into places and we'll see the kids loaded up with chips and candy and pop. And we all like those treats every now and then, but it should not be the cornerstone of what you're doing. No. We have a disparity in terms of food, what we call a food desert.
Yes.
Not being able to get to the proper food. So if I say, hey, look, we can get you off your antihypertensive medications if you can lower your salt. We can stop your cholesterol problem if we can get you to get the proper food to help that. If you're following a diabetic diet, if you're following a heart healthy diet. But we find out, you know, doc, all the stuff you told me, I can't find it. I don't see it. Talking about what people are eating.
Or can't afford it.
Or can't afford it. Yeah, healthy food is expensive. I think when we just talked about this whole SNAP thing that just went on, you know, it was disheartening to see how many people really, really had to depend on that to get fruits and vegetables and things, and it was very sad. And thank God it's over with. But again, try to find grocery stores that are promoting healthy diets.
And it's an American diet, because in other countries,
Yes.
snacks aren't as popular.
They don't even do that. Well, they want to cook. They put the mainstay of their diet as fruits and vegetables. Meat is not a mainstay like it is here. And I think when we have those diets, it fills the person with antioxidants, keeps your elimination good because you have high fiber. I think that these diets are what are really going to be the cornerstone of our health, not being on more medication that helps us prescribe less medications, actually. I also think that to do better, you have to know better. We have to educate people more on how do I manage my health in terms of screening, pap smears, colonoscopies, mammograms, bone mineral densities, sleep studies. These are important tests to help us promote longevity in our patient population, because if we can find things early, we know the outcome is much better than when we meet that person for the first time and they're having shortness of breath and we find out they've got a pleural effusion from cancer. We want to avoid that if we can. That is not where we want to end up. So again, the education to say, hey, I've got to get to my doctor to help him help me stay healthy by doing these tests. But again, we're not getting that out there.
And then there's so many stigmas. People
Well,
are afraid to go to the doctors a lot of times.
all day long, yes.
And so they're not getting those tests, but
not.
those tests can save their lives.
They are the cornerstones, Tiffany, of health. And I think that there's something reassuring about saying, I just had my mammogram and I feel it's negative and I feel better. I just had my blood work. They said there's nothing wrong with me. My liver, kidney, everything's fine. Yeah. I think that is reassuring. So we have to get people to want to buy into that a little bit more. But you're absolutely right. The stigma is terrible. You know, another one that we have to talk about that I think is sticking out like a sore thumb is transportation. I have so many people say, I wanted to come, but I couldn't because the transportation left me because I had to get my walker and I was too late and they came and left. So
wow.
It is very sad, but again, you'd be surprised how many people don't have the transportation to get around that they need to. The insurances do provide it, but again, difficult to do something we take for granted and jump in our car and go where we want. And I think that trickles down to getting to the store, getting to other things besides just the doctor's appointment. But if I send somebody for an x-ray or I send somebody for a CAT scan, tough to get there. And we all know that sitting, waiting for these things, you can't always be on time and say, well, I know I'll be out in 30 minutes. Well, it doesn't always work like that. It's not in your control. So they get discouraged and don't go. So.
And we need them to go. And especially,
Absolutely.
You mentioned about the food. Even with vegetables, even with the healthy foods, there are so many things that we have to look out for now that we didn't have to look out for when you and I were growing
Yes.
up. The GMOs,
yeah.
the fake food, you know, the quality of the food is so much different here in America than anywhere else on the planet, because other countries don't allow
Those
all of
into
the
their
things
yes.
that we allow, that the FDA allows in our food. And cancer seems to be on the rise.
Well, some of these things we're eating, Tiffany, are promoting cancer.
Yes.
They're oncogenic foods nowadays, okay? I think when you look at, and I try to promote looking at the ingredients of the foods when you don't understand a darn thing that's on the back of that's probably not a good idea, okay? So do we need those things? Yes, but as you said, they're not allowed in other countries to the extent they are here, because the food manufacturing industry, they have lobbyists. They're going to make sure that they're putting their products on the shelf.
Yes.
And unfortunately, those altered foods taste better and people are going to go to them, but they might not be better for you.
Yes.
So
they're
I think
not.
that's the thing that we want to look at. And again,
The processed foods.
the processed food, high in sodium.
Yes.
You heard of high fructose corn syrup?
Yes.
Bad stuff.
Yeah.
Bad stuff. It's in almost everything.
Yeah.
And I think those are the things we want to promote and have people be more aware of. Okay, but again, getting the word out is not easy.
It's not.
And it even starts from, I think there should be a health promotion program in schools with our starting maybe the 3rd or 4th grade, where people could say, hey, we're going to class to learn how to live healthy.
We do have them in some of our schools, and we also, some schools have gardens.
Really?
They do.
Okay, and I didn't know about that.
And
I'm glad to hear that.
And then some schools are partnering with farmers to make sure that there are healthy meals in the schools.
And those programs are invaluable, and we need many, many more of them. And we might have to make sure that nobody gets left behind in terms of this access, and how we can get them to understand that these programs are there for them. So
yes.
And
these things affect our whole population in American society. But there are some things that affect African Americans more, and as well as other minorities more than some other communities. What are some of the biases and disparities that African Americans face in the system?
I think that in the system, again, we're here talking about the healthcare disparity, but there's also an economic disparity.
Yes.
And I think that economic disparity perpetuates all the things that you and I just talked about preceding this part of our conversation. And I think that we do get stigmatized in terms of, we're not taking as good a care as we could. I think we get stigmatized with they're not trying as hard to get access to these things, okay? Because for sure, we see in the African American population, people are coming in with things at a much more advanced stage than we might in other populations and areas, okay? And I think that, again, making sure that we are educating our people about how to access things, because if you don't know to do better, you're not gonna do better. But again, we have to make sure that we're cleaning up our act in terms of what's going on in the household, healthy diets, making sure the kids are getting off to a good start in the daytime. I mean, this is something I'm sure you're passionate about too, with all the things you've been in. But again, in the African American community, making sure that the education process is intact to disseminate this information about where we want to go. Okay?
There are cases that I've heard about when African Americans go to the doctor and they try to tell their doctor something that they are experiencing, and their doctor just does not give them the service that they need. They kind of act like it's not happening. They don't take them seriously.
Yeah, you have to talk to people, and you have to be able to listen. And there's probably another issue at work here. Not sure I'm going to call it a disparity, but we are woefully undermanned in terms of African American physicians that come from this area, that understand the people from this area, that are passionate about taking care of the population here with all its warts and things that go along with it, okay? I firmly believe if somebody has a substance abuse problem, they need to be embraced more and get more intense medical care, not write them off because they get sick too. But I think sometimes we say, well, hey, other groups make assumptions, and that's borne out in television shows, the way that we're perceived by the public. That being said, we've got to get more doctors into med schools, out of med schools, so they can come back to Detroit and hopefully want to stay here. If you're from here, you might want to come back and stay here. Yes. And hang your shingle in the Detroit area. Yes. I can't even really say there's very many young doctors that are coming into the area. But again, I think when you grew up in the area and you've seen what's going on here, you're better able to talk to somebody and understand what they're going through. Your level of compassion is going to be heightened because you say, hey, that's the folks I grew up around. Those are the issues I'm having. And understanding the problems and maybe making a difference in that way too. Being a good listener, being able to get confidence of somebody so they can say, you know what, I'm gonna do what he asked me because I believe he does really care about me. If somebody says, hey, they don't care what's going on with me, why should I even try? Yeah, why should I put this effort together?
Do you see African American doctors facing a lot of biases in the system? Is there a hard time attracting and retaining them in this area as well?
I think one of the big problems that we have had, but we certainly are overcoming with a lot of enthusiasm. I'm not sure Detroit proper was anybody's destination to live. I'm a young person. I'm 30 years old. I'm just out of school. Where do I want to hang my shingle? But right now, I think this is a great place to want to live and bring up a family. I mean, you're a Detroiter, I'm a Detroiter. We're proud of our city right now.
Absolutely.
We're excited about what's happening here.
Absolutely.
So I think that maybe that will attract more people to want to stay here and interject into the community. There are other places that have a lot of attractive attributes also, but I do feel like we're competitive right now. So hopefully we're going to get some people here that will stay here. And once again, we do have a very formidable medical education system here between Henry Ford, St. John, DMC. These all have residency programs, so we have to make a bigger effort to bring them and say, hey, there's a place for you here, and we feel strongly about you staying here. And I would leave it to them to talk about their recruitment programs of the young doctors, but again, it's important, and it's important to recruit young African American doctors, okay? People that are going to stay
Especially in
here.
Detroit.
Well, it's very sad to see the number of people that we're putting out in terms of the area that we're from. We should do a lot more, okay? A lot more. And I think if we saw that and we made it a point to say, hey, we're recruiting you to stay here, I think more people would, and more people are needed. Again, there's very few new places to practice medicine popping up in the city necessarily, and we've got to do better.
You've been a doctor a very long time, very highly respected.
Okay, well, we don't want to get into how long
your
I've
field.
Okay.
I was going to ask you, how long have you been a doctor,
About
and what
30
made
years.
you 30 years?
Well, you know what happened? My dad's a doctor, and I've got 5 brothers that are all attorneys, so that speaks to who wants to be a doctor. And I'm named after my dad, so everybody, well, he's got to be a doctor, right? But as I matriculated through, I didn't really want to do it, but I did have a son that died at 5 years old, and it showed me a different side of caring for people. And in your worst, most down time, which can be with your own health or a loved one's health, it makes a difference to talk to people and try to explain or just listen. And I had some great doctors that helped us get through that, and I'll forever be thankful for them. And they're, you know, that you don't get that opportunity every day, but you try to, when it does come about, you do try to be more empathetic and a better listener and try to understand what they're going through, because it's a lonely time for people. And even your families can't be there sometime like you might want them to.
Yeah, and I'm sorry that you lost your son. I don't remember. I don't remember hearing that story
Many years
before.
ago, many years ago, but you never forget.
Yeah.
You never forget. And I think about him every day still. So, but it does, you know, your life is not a single moment that makes you who you are. It's a culmination of all the experiences that you have in your life. And you know, I'm not sure why my brothers even got into law school, but something happened that struck a spark in them, and they wanted to do that. And so, and even when speaking about your career and all the great things you've done, you know, you've been influenced by many different things and called to do many things. And so it's just something has to light a match in your life, and hopefully if you can get that, it'll last for a long time, and that career is something you're very proud of at the end of it.
Yeah. Well, what do you say to young people that may be watching this and they would like to become a doctor?
That's a really great question. First of all, I will say this: don't be discouraged. There's many more naysayers and people that will discourage you than there are positive pats on the back. But if that's your goal and you feel passionate about it, you should pursue it. I stress, try to find mentors, even at early ages, people that can point you in the right direction, people that can encourage you, people that can, when everybody else says you're going to flunk physics, no, you're not. You're going to study and you're going to pass it. So people that have been through it, it makes you feel better that you can accomplish something when you have somebody that can talk to you that's been through that already. And even when it's not somebody in your family, I think there's a lot of doctors that would be so proud to have young people come to the office and say, hey, you know what, I just want to know, can I talk to you for a little while about this journey that I'm pursuing? And so, and you know, last but not least, you have to be a good student, because it is very, very competitive. Make no mistake. Many of the people that are competing with you are outstanding students, top of their class since they walked into school, extremely good family support, okay? And maybe you don't have something that they have, but that doesn't mean you quit. You find it, and find a way to surround yourself with people that are encouraging and like-minded. If you're in school, find the kids at the front of the class, not the ones at the back of the class trying to get away and cut class. Find the smart kids. Find the people that have a common goal to what you have. And I think that exponentially increases your chances of being able to accomplish your goal, instead of being the only one and these thoughts that are coming in your head are negative thoughts. Find people that surround you with positive thoughts. Okay? Absolutely.
What type of medicine do you practice, and what made you decide to become that type of doctor?
I am an internal medicine, general medicine person, so I try to keep my patients well. Of course, I have people that are sick but my main goal is to try to do the things that are keeping people well and staying healthy. I did originally go into med school with the intention of being a pediatrician, but because of my own experience when I went there and I saw these kids going through some horrible things, especially the pediatric oncology, I just couldn't make it through there. It was just too much, and brought back some tough memories that I had gone through with my own son. So I said, well, you know what, I'm going to get as far as I can away from that. And I started trying to deal with the elderly and, you know, people that are at the other end of the spectrum. But yeah, that wasn't my original goal, but I am glad that things worked out the way they did.
What suggestions? I know we talked about the food, and we talked about making sure that you're screening early. What other suggestions do you have for people? What are you seeing nowadays that's on the rise besides cancer, and how can people address those issues?
I'll go back to, for me, I think that this screening issue is paramount to good health. And screening can be, there are recommended screenings, of course, mammogram, colonoscopy, and lung cancer screening for smokers. There are other things that can happen if you fit that criteria. But again, bone mineral density for our elderly, to make sure if they fall, they don't have hip fractures. There's a condition called obstructive sleep apnea. Not a lot of people know about it, but if you see your person that you're sleeping with stop breathing or snoring a lot, they should be screened for this, because this can cause heart problems. It can cause a lot of other issues, but it's undiagnosed because you don't know that you're snoring or not breathing at night. But again, so that requires a sleep study. And I think that's a great test. And I talked to some of the students in the office with me about making sure we're getting that test done. If somebody's overweight or come in with their family member, talk to them about that. Big on, obviously the PSAs and pap smears and things are important in the proper context. But again, talking to your patient, one glove doesn't fit all. What's unique about that person, and how should we screen them, okay? But the more screening, the better, okay? Because it allows us to get there earlier and intervene earlier with the proper medications or physicians. And if you get in it early, you might not need medication. You know, if we say, hey, if you lose 20 pounds, you're gonna get off this antihypertensive, or you know, you can get away from your arthritis medication because your knees feel better. These are all motivating factors for somebody to get in there and make those changes.
Love it, love it. We're gonna take a break right now. As we continue our journey of growth and connection, let's take a moment to hear from our sponsors who make this podcast possible. After this brief message, stay tuned because we will be right back.
People ask all the time, who the heck is low-cost airlines? Well, we're not just one airline. When you're talking to us, you're talking to everyone. We are the discount supermarket for all airline tickets. Plus, we have all the airlines and always have the best prices. American, Delta, United, plus all the specialized international airlines and a lot more. And we make it easy. We guarantee you'll talk to a live human in 60 seconds. You can have the rates you need and have your trip booked in 5 minutes. Now, how cool is that? And remember, when you're talking to us, it's like talking to every single airline available with one fast phone call. All you need to do is call and find the best prices to fly wherever it is you want to go. So are you ready? Call Low Cost Airlines right now.
Call 855-662-0261. That's 855-662-0261. Again, 855-662-0261.
Hi, I'm the tax lady. Do you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS? Then listen carefully. You may be able to pay the IRS less and save thousands of dollars because right now there are special government tax programs for people like you who owe the IRS. We can even help you if you have unfiled tax returns. And if you qualify, you'll pay less money to the IRS or state. Stop worrying about wage garnishments and bank levies and call the number on the screen right now for a free tax review. We know what you're going through. We help good people like you every day pay the IRS or state less taxes all the time. If you owe more than $10,000 to the IRS or state, call now for your free, no-obligation consultation with a tax professional. Don't fight the IRS alone. Call the Tax Ladies team today.
Call the tax lady at 877-335-7471. Call now.
Hi everyone, it's Tiffany Tilley and I am beyond excited to invite you to a life-changing event. March marks the kickoff of the Thrive and Rise monthly book club and the launch of the Thrive and Rise podcast. We'll be diving into the first book in the Know Thyself book series, A Journey to Self-Empowerment. And I can't wait to get started with you all. Join me here at the Motor City Java House where we'll connect, explore personal growth, and take this journey to self-empowerment together. I've poured my heart into creating this space for you, where we will uncover the tools and practices to break through limitations, overcome self-doubt, and step boldly into our purpose. And here's the best part. I'll have discounted copies of A Journey to Self-Empowerment available in person so you can get your signed copy directly from me. Come for the inspiration, stay for the community. And don't forget to grab your free cup of coffee while you're at it. RSVP today by emailing knowthyselfbookseries@gmail.com, or you can find us on Eventbrite. Let's rise together. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share so that we can reach more people who need this.
How'd it happen?
She showed up dead on arrival.
This never gets easier.
It does when you call CarShield before your car breaks down. Look at these prices. The camshaft, transmission, engine.
Don't people know? A plan through CarShield could protect up to 5,000 parts and systems.
You hate to see it.
An out-of-warranty car is gonna break down eventually.
Right, which is why they need a plan through CarShield.
Best of all, you'll get access to CarShield's concierge service, who can even help you find a mechanic near you.
They're notifying the family.
Poor guy, he doesn't even know what's coming.
Another victim of senselessly expensive repair bills. Can't save them all.
But we can keep trying. Didn't have to end this way. If he'd have just called CarShield before his car broke down.
Exactly.
CarShield has an A rating with the Better Business Bureau and was voted America's most trusted auto protection company. It's time to call CarShield now. Call 800-636-1039.
Are you ready to rise above the noise, reclaim your power, and walk boldly in your purpose? This is Thrive and Rise with Tiffany, the podcast that's more than just talk. It's a movement.
Every setback is a setup for a greater comeback, and I'm here to walk with you through every chapter.
Join Tiffany Tilley, visionary, author, advocate, and overcomer as she sits down with dynamic leaders, everyday heroes, and purpose-driven changemakers who are thriving against the odds, with real conversations on healing, growth, and faith, to bold strategies for leadership, legacy, and impact. This is your space to be inspired, empowered, and equipped. Subscribe today on Apple, Spotify, or any major podcast platform. And remember,
Come for the inspiration, stay for the community. Keep thriving with Tiffany. Welcome back. We are continuing the conversation with Dr. Ellison. I do want to ask you, there are a lot of people doing alternative health right now.
Good question, yes.
And alternative health is something that's been around a very long time, but the information did not pass on through the generations.
Absolutely.
And so people are getting back into alternative health, especially with conversations like Dr. Sebi and different herbalists.
Yes.
What have you seen with alternative health?
Well,
Do you believe in it at all?
One of my greatest adversaries right now is Dr. CBC Moss, because people want to take that and they think it cures everything. That's a great question. I encourage people to become knowledgeable about their health. Now, what avenue that looks like can take on many different looks. So if you choose to look at Dr. CB and all the alternative things and you want to embrace that, what are you doing? You're reading, you're becoming more knowledgeable about these things, and you're taking an interest in your health, because you wouldn't be doing this if you weren't. So to me, that is an entry to that person and their health, because they're like, the wheels are spinning, they're making decisions about it, and they want to be healthy. So the want to be healthy is a great start. Now, my caveat there is, take your CMOS, take these other things that are supposed to be helpful, and I'm sure they are, but I still need you to come see me about the screening things that can potentially crop up, and we don't want to close our eyes to it. So we want to get these things done, and if you find out that you want to continue to do these things to stay healthy, that's great, and I encourage it. I'm not that knowledgeable, but I have enough trouble trying to keep up with the stuff we're supposed to in my profession. But that being said, now we start to say there are things that we don't think that the holistic approach will necessarily help us with. So I have had people that I diagnosed with cancer, and they chose this alternative, and unfortunately, it didn't provide the outcome that they wanted. So in that case, I think sometimes we have to cross over and look at more traditional things to help us. But again, if you're taking these foods, I think that leads to say, hey, I'm taking these holistic foods, now I'm gonna go out and walk. Now I'm gonna go to the gym more often. Now I'm gonna look at the packages of the food I'm eating. So there's a pathway to what we just talked about, but it might not be the one we originally intended. And last but not least, the one caveat I have to say is, I think these things tend to be kind of expensive, and I have to make sure I tell, well, I'm fine that you try that, but I don't want you spending all your money on these supplements at the expense of just really good traditional foods that we know are going to help you. And don't forget, most of these holistic medicines are the roots of the traditional medicine that we see now. A pharmaceutical company has said, hey, we see this medication can do this, let's look at it and see if there's something that we can extrapolate out of it that help us with making medication. So there are some great benefits to it, but I want to say, do not turn your back on traditional medicine. There's still somewhere in there that you should come in and see us about.
I agree. I've definitely seen on both sides of my family where people have used them and it has helped. And I've seen it where people have used them and it has not helped.
Yes, hasn't done a lot.
And I'm a big proponent of alternative medicines. Like you said, it's the root, it's the foundation, for the medicine that we have today. But I do believe that you've made an excellent point, which is you still need to
show up.
You still need to show up at your doctor's office. You still need to work with your doctor, and your doctor still needs to be aware of what you are doing, especially if it could mix with any medications that the doctor has prescribed.
Tiffany, you just hit the nail on the head. That's huge. We know that some of these medications do have ability to make other medications not work as good. Even something like grapefruit juice, it can cause your medicines not to work or work too good. So we have to be aware of what people are taking, okay? But I don't want to discourage it. I want to incorporate myself into this approach and how we can do that. And you know what? Maybe I learned something too, okay? So I would love to find out what's working for people.
I appreciate that, and I appreciate that about you when you were working with my mom and I wanted to do some alternative things, and we researched some things, and some things really did work. Even for her TBI, I said there's research that Ritalin would help her, where it would slow down a patient that has ADD or ADHD, but with a patient that has a TBI, traumatic brain injury, it helps speed the brain up and it helps speed up the recovery. And we did see, unfortunately, my mom had a very severe TBI, but it did help for us to see increased brain activity.
Tiffany, we don't want to take hope away from our families.
Yeah.
And I love that you were working with us to try to find a way that you felt you could be useful. And that's very important. We want the families to be involved. And as I said, we were talking about many topics today, but in terms of our elderly, we want the elderlies to have their families involved. We want people to care for them. Like anybody that's done anything in their life, it's because your parents were involved. Somebody was back there encouraging you. So I love that we have people involved, and I welcome it. And I want them to, if you feel like you heard of something, as long as it's not too out there, I think that we welcome it and we want to incorporate that, okay? There are some things that I've heard out there that I had to kind of like, okay, hold up on that. But for the most part, I think everybody would agree what's a reasonable holistic approach to things.
And you did your research.
I have to.
Yes, absolutely.
I can't just let things happen that might be detrimental to my patient.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I think that, again, good rapport, us respecting one another, and working towards the outcome of the patient is what we strive for.
Yes, and I was very disappointed recently because of all of the dollars that the federal government has taken away from research, medical research, when it comes to the universities and the work that they're doing. They are doing some really important cutting edge research that could help in so many needed areas. Well,
as I said, the two instances with the GLP-1s and I'll give the government credit. They are trying to lower the prices on these medications, I'm told. Whether this happens or not, I'm not sure. And even the sensors. There's just so much technology out there that you wouldn't even believe it. But again, getting our people access to that technology is another issue. They've got some things now that you don't even have to inject yourself with insulin. You put a credit card size pack on your belt and it reads this monitor and it injects the appropriate amount of insulin all day.
Wow.
That is amazing. What if everybody could get that?
Wow.
Wouldn't that change a lot of lives?
Wow.
Yeah. In terms of cardiology, defibrillators and Watchmans and technology that prevent people from having arrhythmias and things, fantastic. But again, making sure people can get access to it. That's the issue. That's the problem.
So how do we make sure people get access? How do we make sure people even know about it? I mean, today, we're talking about it, and we need more conversations.
Getting people to their primary care physician is paramount to them getting good health, okay? And talking to your doctor. Don't sit back and just let things happen. You know what the best patient is? The one that comes in with a little notepad and says, here's the questions I had for you today. Can you help me answer these? And also, doctors do get busy like everybody else, but if you had tests that you went for, just say, hey, I'm here to follow up on my test result, okay? Sometimes it's kind of tough to remember every test that somebody did. So helping them by coming in and finding out what happened and what those results were is very important. So I have to say, the access to things happens when you come to the doctor and tell us what your issues are. Some things require patience. A lot of patients, hey, doc, I need a scooter. Well, that's not gonna happen today, okay? But if you work with us and we talk, we have a chance to get it, okay? Because we have to convince the insurance company that they want it. But again, it just is requiring us all working together on the same page and doing the things that I think help promote that use of the technology that we see out there.
You made a really good point, because I do feel like as a patient that it is the questions that you don't ask that causes the biggest issue. Sometimes you can get more help if you're asking the right questions.
And that's why I say, okay, I've got an appointment Wednesday. Maybe Monday night you say, hey, I wanted to ask about this. Here's what I'm seeing about myself. Here's how this medication affected me when I started it. Those are the questions that you need to bring with you, and that's just preparing for your visit. And that helps us a lot too, because now we can get right down to business about what your concerns are. I think when people are struggling, more people come and say, you know what, I went to my car in the parking lot and I thought about 3 things I need to ask you. But if we could do that, it requires us, it eliminates that, hey, I've got to wait till the next visit, or I've got to try to call the doctor and get them through the secretaries or whatever. Prepare for your visit. Prepare for your visit. That's paramount to a successful visit. Okay. Ask for copies of your notes and labs and tests, because it's your body. You should have access to the things that we're testing on your body. Okay.
Absolutely.
So invest in that visit.
That's one of the things that I love about MyChart, the MyChart system, and systems like it, where you can go in, you can look at your results, and you can do research on everything. Yes.
Tip, the thing, I love the MyCharts, and I love the phones, okay? I mean, that technology. I mean, I grew up when everybody was doing callers waiting or whatever, caller ID, okay? So this is beautiful technology, and certainly it's working its way into healthcare more and more and more. But I think another issue that we talk about disparity is just, you'd be surprised how many people don't know how to use these things. It's tough. Sometimes the government is looking at trying to eliminate or downsize Obamacare, right? So we have this marketplace, but sometimes just trying to navigate through these things for people is really, really tough. Everybody doesn't have computers at home. The MyChart is great, but we got to make sure people can use it correctly. So,
absolutely.
Again, this is not just one thing, but making sure the educational system has to match the goals we have. So we have to make sure everybody is getting to the point where they're literate with these phones, these MyCharts, these applications that are tough to get through. So I think that, again, raising the level of education in our community is a priority number one.
Yes.
And if you can do that, I think we have a real chance to make some inroads into some of these problems. But again, I don't remember the statistics, but I was kind of alarmed. I heard this that the number of people graduating from high school in the Detroit area was under 30%.
There was research done, study done over probably about 15 years ago, and the study found that over 30-something% of Detroiters, adult Detroiters, were illiterate, and over 60% were functionally illiterate, which means they can't read much, but they can function day to day.
They can function day to day. Yes, this is a big problem. Okay, so again, we could be here all day talking about those disparities. Okay,
yes.
But again, just getting people more educated and more able to access the technology we're talking about. One of the sensor, well, you have to put it on yourself. I have a lady that has, her job is to help people get the sensors on, because so many people are having trouble reading through it and working.
But that goes back to the literacy and functional illiteracy rate.
And I was in the room, and one lady, she said, you know what, just give me back my needles, because this is too hard. But it wasn't hard. It's just her patience with the issue was not great. So, but again, the education system has to be repaired, especially in our city.
Yeah.
And hopefully our new mayor will take, I don't know even who does this, was the state or senate, but you know, I think there's a great goal to have to get our school system and our kids on track.
Yeah. The control is local, so it falls on the school system, but I'm hopeful. I think that a lot of things that have happened in the education system, especially in Detroit, has been repaired over the last several years. I think we still have very far to go.
We do.
I do think we are heading in the right direction.
Absolutely. Are you familiar with the Detroit Promise program?
Yes.
You know, I think to a certain extent, to have somebody paying for your college for free, everybody should be lined up for that, but you'd be surprised how many times we don't have enough kids taking advantage of that great program. But again, if we can get the word out and everybody is scouring the school for kids that can get to the, I don't know all the schools, I know Wayne State, but if we can get access to them and they can go to school free, that's a big help.
Yeah,
but we got to keep pounding that in.
And every child isn't college bound, but for those who are, we want to make sure that they have access, that they have information, that they have the resources, and hopefully we can get more doctors.
Yes, well, we need them. Come on, guys. But personally, I will say this. I'm not I love what you said about everybody's not college material. The world, many different people make this thing go round. And you and I have had some dialogue about, you know, just kind of getting out there and trying to be successful and finding your niche. If you are diligent, you'll find it.
Yes.
You'll get to it, and you'll meet people that'll help you get to it.
Yes.
So again, just try to help the young people get to a point where they can find their own way. Okay?
Yes.
Because so often, just not on track. You know, had some people the other day that came in, and this young lady is about 22, 23, and you know, she's trying to get somewhere, and then she tells me, well, I'm getting ready to have a baby. And I just kind of figure, I wish some of the kids would just think more about that decision and what it means to not only you, but your child. And just being able to access, you know, just a thought process. Not saying if you want to do it, okay, but just thinking about what are you giving up sometime. Because it is not easy to go to school or even trade school or anything when you have those other responsibilities, okay? But again, just the thought about where am I going and how do I get there?
Yeah.
I think that thought at a young age is very important.
Yeah.
And you know what, that's what parents are for. Hopefully the parent can help you navigate some of those decisions. Okay?
Yeah.
But again, we've got to get that where kids have a parent to say, hey, what do you think of this? And that experience that you have can help them avoid some pitfalls that maybe they would fall into otherwise.
Yeah. It's really about making healthy choices.
Healthy choices, yes.
And making sure that when you are doing things, you're doing them responsibly.
Responsibly, yes,
so,
yes. That is not a decision you should take lightly.
Yes.
Okay, so,
at all.
And I think that man, if you can get through about 24, 25 without collecting too much baggage, man, I think you can. You're in good shape.
Yes.
Okay.
And when you do get there, if you have made choices that they don't give you the desired outcome,
No, but I want you to make a decision, even if you make some.
We do want people to up front
Right.
make
Yes.
more healthy choices.
But even then, keep trying to learn to make healthy choices.
Yes.
Keep trying to learn
because
to put yourself in
mistakes are going to happen.
Look, if you want to talk
life
about
is going to happen.
yeah, that's called life, hon.
So we
Yes.
do want people to know that, if life happens, if you have made some bad choices, or even if you've had things happen and it was no choice to it, you can still rise from that.
It's the person that is in a fight and stays down that doesn't have a chance to make things different. But if you get up off that canvas and you brush yourself off and you say, hey, I'm ready, I learned from that mistake, I'm ready to move on and do some new things, okay? And do some better things for myself.
Yes.
I think that's what we want to try to promote. But again, when you're out there and you're around people that are sharing common goals with you about where you want to go, I just feel real strongly that that's the environment you want to try to put yourself in.
Absolutely.
Okay? Put yourself with people that share common goals with yourself. And that doesn't mean they have to be doing the same thing, but just people that, hey, did you get up and did you get to class this morning? People that care about you and want to see you have positive things happen to you. And I think those are the type of things that will promote that healthy.
Absolutely.
Same goes with the health care. Do we have people that are saying, hey, are you sure you're supposed to be eating that? One of our big problems, and it's nowhere near what it used to be, but smoking. If you're in a household of smokers, you have no chance to stop smoking. But if somebody says, hey, look, we want you to stop smoking, so we're going to stop smoking too.
Support systems are so important.
So again, these are behaviors that promote the kind of outcomes that we want to see for our patients, okay? It's just education, it's caring, it's being empathetic, and it's just trying to help. Trying to help, whether it be me helping, families helping. We need people to help.
Yes.
That's it.
And before we wrap up, I do want to go back to, you mentioned Ozempic and some other medications that can really help. Can you talk more about the pros and cons? I definitely have seen pros with it where people use it for weight loss, but there are some cons that can happen with that or any medications that you use.
Right. Well, let's divide it up into two categories. There's the weight loss category, and there is the diabetic category. So it's actually a diabetic medication, and for a diabetic, they're much easier to get. I would say that there is a ideal body mass index for everyone, which is their height, weight calculation. And I've seen people lose 20 to 40 pounds on these medications from the weight loss perspective. And that alone is promoting healthy behavior from the standpoint of, again, I think when you're not eating just whatever and getting overweight, I think you make better choices. I think your knee issues go away, your obstructive sleep apnea issues go away, the diabetic issues go away. Not all the way, but more controlled. Okay? And I think that is the positive. Now, they say that you have to look out for pancreatitis and you have to look out for constipation or bowel obstruction because you are slowing down the motility of the gut. But again, when you start on the medications, you should be monitored. I'm not really a fan of these people that are going online and going to these compounding places because you should be observed at least for some time about what's going on with you. And your nutrition has to be observed too because you're not eating what you were, and maybe we need less. But again, there are some side effects, but I think that the predominant role of these medications is a positive one. Now, on the diabetic side, I think that you're titrating it more to control the blood sugar, and it is a helper. Very few people are probably told that's the only medication they're going to be on, but again, it has shown to be helpful, and there are some advancements being made in those medications too. So I think if you're overweight, BMI of 28, 30, you should talk to your doctor. Hey, what do you think of these? Are these right for me? Okay. But again, I think when you go on, and I don't know the names of all these companies that are, hey, you can go and get this medication by just ordering it. And I don't know the whole situation if there's a doctor involved even in this, but I think it's better to have those medications prescribed with your doctor to make sure that we're checking your labs periodically and we're looking at you staying nutritionally in a good place rather than just doing this on your own. So that, and then again, one of the problems with weight loss, everybody wants a pill. Take this pill and you'll lose all this weight. And that's about as close as we've ever come to that. Mm-hmm. But we still have to do exercise. We still have to do all the other things that promote that healthy lifestyle. Okay?
Is it permanent if
no,
someone
you stop
stops?
it, you'll gain your weight right back. Yes, absolutely. No, but I would hope that I'd hope you learn some lessons on how to stay healthy. If you choose to back off, what did you learn about that part of the journey that says, hey, you know what? Now that I'm where I want to be, I'm going to use some of these lessons of being on the medication to help me. Because to me, and I mean, this is controversial, but I feel like food's an addiction. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I think that some people just can't control themselves. But now we've got you in a place where you hopefully can control what your intake is and what you're eating.
And then again, back to them putting things in food. They're putting things in food
yeah.
to make it addictive as well.
High fructose corn syrup, fatty, salty, all these things are there to get you to go back and buy more of it.
Yes.
Okay.
And the things that they do to your brain, and people don't know that your brain is being triggered.
Yeah. Well, there's definitely demand for these things. I mean, Red Bull is probably one of the biggest products in the world, and so. Yeah. But again, there are things out there to try to get you to come back and buy them over and over and over again. Next time you go to the grocery store, look at it from that perspective maybe, and not the, hey, I'm just going to shop, but what are they selling, folks? And why is that in that place it is in the store? Okay, and I know everybody's not the same, but again, how are these stores set up? Now, I will say this. There's a lot of people that go right, but most stores have the vegetables and fruits in the front and everybody pass right by them. Mm-hmm. But that's where we should spend the most of our time, not the least of our time.
Yes.
Okay. But unfortunately, a lot of them have the liquor aisle right next to that. Okay. So again, you have to have the wherewithal to be able to make those right decisions for yourself.
Yes.
Okay. And what that means for you. So again, it's just to kind of go back, because I love that question. Once you are on the Mounjaro, Ozempic, Wegovy, whatever it is, and you've lost your weight, continue to exercise, continue to eat right, continue to put things in your body that are enhancing your health, not degrading your health. But I think what they do is give you a good reset, okay? Mm-hmm. I don't know if I have anybody on there for years. I'd have to go back and look at that. And I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but I think that, it's probably strange for a doctor to say this, but I ascribe to the less is best philosophy. I want my patients on less medication, the least possible, not the most possible. So again, I try to promote review of medications and coming off of those as often as we possibly can.
And again, medicines have side effects.
Of course they do.
So the more you use it, the more that you can experience those side effects.
And we have to manage those side effects. We have to manage what we're seeing those medications do for people. And again, the list, going to the doctor with your list of how you're feeling, how are the medications working for you, and how do we get your questions answered about these things that you're on or going to be on, or we stopped and you thought you might need it again.
Yes.
So.
Thank you. Dr. Ellison, I want to thank you so much for joining me
Tiffany,
today.
the pleasure's all mine, and thank you so much, okay?
Thank
Enjoy the
you.
day.
Do you have anything that you want to say before we wrap up?
Just health is the true wealth, okay? Because I saw the big game, is that what it's called? The one with the $1 billion?
I think so.
Well, if you won that and you're not healthy, what'd you get?
Yeah.
Somebody else might have benefit, but you won't. So health is the true wealth, and we should pursue it as hard as we do anything in our lives, okay? Because there's so many great things we can do when we have health. Travel, classes, education, family, being around our families, okay? That's going to grandkids' games. All those things are predicated on us being healthy enough to do them.
That was so powerful.
Okay, well, we want to empower people with their health for sure. So, but
Yes.
Thank you. I enjoyed the show.
Thank you. Likewise, enjoyed having you here.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us on this episode of Thrive and Rise with Tiffany. We hope today's discussion has inspired you to grow, connect, and thrive in your personal and professional life. To further your journey of self-discovery and empowerment, we invite you to explore the Know Thyself book series designed to deepen your understanding of self-awareness and personal growth. And don't forget to subscribe, like, comment, and share. Your support helps us reach more listeners and continue providing valuable content. Stay connected with our community for more empowering episodes. And as always, keep thriving with Tiffany.
Let's get real. Ever feel like you're living life on mute? Like you've got big dreams, but no blueprint? Then this right here is your game changer. Know Thyself, Part 1. A journey to self-empowerment isn't just a book, it's your power-up. Built for you, the dreamer, the leader, the one breaking cycles and building something new.
You don't have to wait to be great. You just have to wake up to who you already are. Inside these pages, real talk about self-worth, affirmations that hit different, challenges that make you level up, and goals that stick. Not another boring workbook. This one, it talks your language.
Whether you're 14 or 24, it's time to unlock your voice, own your story, and walk in purpose. Stop sleeping on yourself. Know yourself. Empower yourself. Be yourself. Grab your copy of Know Thyself, Part 1 today at thrivewithtiffany.com or Amazon. You're not just reading a book, you're starting a revolution. Know thyself. Lead your life. Change your world.